Tell them about the racist stuff you experienced.
Oh yeah, it's not. I can't really say that it's racist. More rather just like ignorance. The people there really have never experienced black people, so.
Oh yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
I remember one game. It was like the last game of the season, and these fans came up to me, and I had eaten dinner at their house. They love me to death. I know their child. In the last game, one of them walks up to me, hands me a sack of bananas, and calls me Monkey Boy.
Wow, that's
anime betrayals.
Top 10 anime betrayals. That's not fair.
Wow, that's up there.
Has the podcast started yet?
So I was telling the others that we're just doing a very casual style kind of podcast. There's not gonna be like an official intro or ending, you know.
Oh.
Like that. Do you want that? We
I
could
kind
do
of
that
like that though.
Yeah.
Because we're just a bunch of random shit people talking on the fucking internet.
I mean, that's a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but like, I'm
Make
this
it taste
person,
cooler
this
for
person.
us.
Like we're rotating. Yeah, it's more official rather than just like. Because like people like call me Carson because they already know who Carson is and everyone else, and shit like that.
It's like at a basketball game, and like if you scored and everybody just clapped, but instead like you scored and the announcer says your name in like a really ridiculous way.
How do we
It's way
score
too
in a
that way.
podcast?
When we get down there,
I mean, okay. So, okay. By the way, yeah. Let me just finish
Let's just press start and then we'll
Let me
go.
finish my briefing for you guys real fast. So the way we're gonna do it is that for each game we're gonna talk about, we go over first is the release date, then a 1-sentence brief. Oh fuck, I need to. Oh, I'm stupid. I didn't find the fucking release date. Oh my god.
Hey Google.
We need to have the release dates.
Main
We'll
room,
give our
white.
initial reactions, then give positive gameplay thoughts, negative gameplay thoughts, playstyle predictions, plot predictions, and then excitement level for the game on a scale of 1 to 10.
And also an addendum for the people who went to E3, if you played it, and what do you think?
But yeah, you know what? Fuck it. We're just gonna get started. Cause okay, that's that works.
Someone's laptop's dying.
I think we'll just cycle it out. Like whoever wants to give their input, go ahead. If you don't have input, just say you don't have input, and we're Gucci. Okay, that's
I have individual thoughts.
like. Oh, no, we're not starting with Ikumi Nakamura. Like that's not in order.
No, we're not starting with Ikumi first.
Austin, throw up Cyberpunk image, please. Throw the Cyberpunk image. So yeah, Austin here is gonna be like our image person, so it's gonna make things easier on the video editing for me. So
For you.
yes.
For you. Specifically you and only you.
But of course.
who is this string bean looking character in the black?
Have you not heard about her? Oh my god. So Ikumi Nakamura. Throw up Cyberpunk.
Why over this?
What did we have tried?
If we start
get to it.
It's going to be a whole bag of work.
Yeah, but let's hold off on her because we're all just gonna be like completely gushing. Let's start with Cyberpunk and then let's move to Checkpoint Crew at B3 and kind of go over that, and then we'll kind of move our way through.
I mean, the problem is our freaking image uploader can't make this. What's going on? Download the Google Drive. Download the Google Drive. Or no, download the folder.
Insubordination.
Download the folder onto your desktop.
At least this is bloopers if you save these.
So here's the deal. I'm trying to copy the
You're trying to
Drive.
Okay.
And when I right click it, it says add a comment and nothing else.
Can't you hit? Oh. Yeah. Okay. So download the entire folder. Just download the entire folder.
That's a big folder.
Download the Checkpoint folder.
I didn't even get here. What the fuck? I have
I
no
like how
idea.
there's like there's an E3 folder, but then it has stuff from like
Drive. It's in my drive
fucking
right
April.
now.
Okay. Download it onto your desktop. Can you do that?
I was like trying to find photos. I'm like, I'm not part of this shit.
Austin, can you download the folder onto your desktop? Fine. If you can't download the folder onto your desktop, just okay. I would like you to just like quickly Google stuff and then just like copy paste the first image that comes up on Google.
Alright, fine.
All right.
That's efficient.
Okay.
That was a dangerous direction.
I'm putting you back on mute so we can get back to the podcast. Okay. Cyberpunk 2020 or fucking 2077. Hey, okay, Keanu. So yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 coming out in, when is it coming out again? Let me see. Coming out
April.
Yeah, April something.
April 16th, 2020.
Oh boy.
So yeah, so it's gonna be us going into the world of, what's it called, Night City, developed by CD Projekt Red. And yeah, what are you guys' initial reactions for Cyberpunk 2077 since more of it got showed at E3?
I mean, a few of us saw the hands-off demo for it, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. Plus, it saw that they showed it in where, like, through each section of the mission they had to go through, they switched to a different version of your character.
You had different builds, which was really cool. Like you had the stealth build, you had the loud and proud build.
Yeah, I liked it because they didn't just replay that same section with different character, but they just did different sections with different characters, and it was very seamless switching. So, as presentation, it was very nice, but still, we weren't wasting our time seeing the same.
Oh yeah, not at all.
So that was well done. From at least what they've shown in demos, both from like behind the scene last year and hands off this year, it is so ambitious. It's like a weird mix between Deus Ex and Grand Theft Auto in the best way, but I just hope that it all comes together well and just a crappy amalgamation of all of these good ideas that just doesn't come out well.
See, my initial reaction to Cyberpunk 2077 when it showed up on the Xbox press conference was the fact that they announced their release date so soon. I was not expecting it to be released next year, actually. Like, when they said it was coming out April 2020, I was like, holy shit. Like, they're actually attaching a release date. I was expecting, like, another year before they would announce any kind of release date.
I mean, they can always delay it. There's nothing stops them from doing that.
That's true.
Cyberpunk 2077 has been in development for a long time. The Witcher 3 kind of staved that off when they had a smaller team for that. And then when The Witcher came out, they got a lot more money so they could actually make this project. So it's been in development for a while. It's finally coming to fruition where you actually have a point where we say we're ready. Because I mean, I think the previous trailer said coming when it's ready, and now it's ready. So.
When did Witcher 3, whatever that last DLC is called, Wine and Blood, or whatever it's
Wine and
called.
Blood, yeah.
Yeah, I know they said as soon as they launched it, they basically took the entirety of the Witcher team and just immediately transferred them all to Cyberpunk, and then on top of that, hired a shit ton of more people, basically, like you said, all that money they got from the success of Witcher. Invested into just increasing the size of their development team, and has since just been entirely invested.
Yeah, because I mean, The Witcher 3 came out in 2015, at least for vanilla, and Witcher 2, which was on Xbox and PC only, and that was in 2011. So I mean, they've had enough time for development. I think it's just time.
3 years. Yeah. So Blood and Wine came out May 31st, 2016. So it's been 3 years since they, again, not 3 years of development, but 3 years since they had it where their entire studio was invested.
Oh, so you're saying 3 years of complete Cyberpunk development?
Well, 3 years of just their entire studio being invested in it.
Oh.
If you right now, let's say you look at BioWare with like its things, they have people working at Anthem, RIP. But they also shift a lot of those people to their next game, which is Dragon Age 4. Like, even if you have a big game that's come out or is coming out, there's still always people going, like, further down the pipeline. And I'm sure they have people who are, like, thinking of, like, the next big thing, but they have pretty much their entire team invested on this game, which kind of shows just how ambitious it is, and why, it seems like they should be able to do it, considering how big Witcher is of a game. They're not, like, new to the idea of open world. But this game is so incredibly detailed with all the various choices. Or at least that's the way they show it.
Yeah, it looks like there's gonna be so many, like, choices and paths you could do for a single mission. Or, yeah, it feels like it's really gonna make it so that, you have an actual open world approach to everything in the game.
That's what I'm worried about.
Huh. Continue.
Yeah, it can lead to problems.
With the game like this, there's a lot of hype around it, and especially from a studio that's as renowned as this one. So when they say open world, people are expecting something from this game like along the lines of Grand Theft Auto, and Grand Theft Auto is a huge open world. And I'm wondering just how large the cyberpunk world is, or how detailed everything is, because given the scope of the NPC interactions, the NPCs have daily schedules, and so much can happen. How big of a world can you have with that amount of detail with this game? That's what I'm
and how hard is it to jump back into the game if you haven't played in a while?
So I can tell you...
If there's a lot going on, they have to have a very intuitive interface for users to help them keep track of everything. Which it might do well, but it's I don't know, I feel like it might end up being just a lot for some people, unless they like trickle it enough that like people are able to easily kind of absorb all the information, be able to go through without too much trouble.
So about the...
And the whole idea on open world is entirely on the marketing, the way they market it, because I mean, like, you could say stuff like Yakuza's open world, but it's not really. It's open world with enclosed space.
Right.
Even with six, having the Dragon Engine letting you go in and out of buildings without having loading screens in between, it's still quote unquote open world. I mean, like, I don't really classify GTA as open world. I'm more of a sandbox world.
Okay.
To look at it.
I was gonna ask what you thought about that.
So it's open world is a buzz term that is used by most marketing for game companies and some developers, just because people want to have the ability of choice, and open world is such a big word for I can do whatever the hell I want. Most likely, it's going to be Deus Ex 2077, and people are going to enjoy it, and it's going to be the hole that Square Enix couldn't fill. But it's not going to be what people's expectations are, where it's going to be full open world. But there's still going to be the whole schedules, kind of like how Zelda Majora's Mask has. Everyone has their own schedules, and they're all programmed.
Yeah.
But
that's what Majora's Mask had.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this game, and I don't play first-person games because I get very dizzy when I play. But this is a game that I was like, I might as well make the sacrifice for, because if they put that much work into it, and it's truly what they're hyping it up to be, then I think it's going to change the way gaming is looked at by everyone.
It's going to be a huge game changer for sure because of everything they're introducing. Well, I mean, so let's talk about the actual gameplay then. Like, other than the size of the game. Wait, have you not watched the trailer from the Microsoft press conference?
No, I watched the Microsoft press conference. No, the behind door shit. We tried so fucking hard to get into that. I swear to God, we had Andrew when one of the press conferences ended. We had Andrew. We had freaking Ash and pretend he's Spanish media.
For everyone listening, we were trying to go as Checkpoint Media. We were not trying to do anything illegal or bad. We were going as Checkpoint Media, but we didn't have an appointment. We were trying to get it. We were trying to get it through normal means.
Get into this point.
I just want to give a disclaimer.
Asked, 500 fucking times, every day. The day before, they're like, "Oh, we're kind of full, but let's see how it goes." And then we go to Checkpoint Media for Dying Light. I come back and they're like, "Yeah, we're full. Try tomorrow." And I try tomorrow, and they're fucking full. So we do all this mental fuckery, try to get inside.
Social engineering.
Social engineering, mental fuckery.
That's what Andrew likes to use.
And I didn't get in. The only thing that was actually good about trying to figure out against is I saw Metal Jesus and I said hi and he said hi back. That was pretty much it. At that point I fucking gave up. So I don't know whatever is in the closed doors. I don't know. I tried my ass to get that frickin' jacket. I I didn't want to wait in line. They're like, they told me to wait in line at the one in the exhibit hall. And it's like, I was like, what do I get? Do I get the jacket? No, you don't get the jacket. I'm like, what do I get? You get a sun visor. I'm like, I don't want to look like I'm from Florida. I want that fucking jacket.
And really think they are going to be selling the jacket. They had a response to people selling the jacket on places like eBay for like $200+, and basically like they responded saying, "Don't buy it, we will sell it." And then people asked how much, and he says, "Definitely less than what it is on eBay."
Oh,
yeah, so that was one of the responses I got when I was trying to go back and forth and trying to get, like, I don't have an appointment, but I'm trying to get in. Is that they're gonna sell the jacket, they just don't have the distribution to do a merch store to the Americas right now, because they're a Polish company.
Oh, that's right.
Pull a Bethesda.
No, but that's the thing. But it's not, because we were we were there to see the jackets in person, dude. They were like flippable jackets. Like the one side was like yellow, and the other side, yeah, dude. Oh, Christian, you're here. What's up? No, Adam. So the jackets were like one side yellow, and the other side was like black with the samurai logo on it. The demon samurai logo. It was actually a badass jacket.
So salty.
But I just feel like there's a lot of salt in this conversation. There's not enough E3. Too much salt.
No, this is E3. This is my experience with fucking E3 trying to get that goddamn jacket.
The thing is, Christian, you weren't there when we actually tried to go into the Cyberpunk media booth as Checkpoint MediaWorks. They turned us down multiple times, and we tried multiple things, including having
every day.
All right, I'll tell my brother to just beep everything that just came out of your mouth.
But yeah, so if you can have your brother edit this, that would be greatly appreciated. Let's just keep moving on, gentlemen. Playstyle predictions. Is there anything you guys kind of predict that the game will have other than what's shown already, or sorry?
On Cyberpunk.
Yeah, on Cyberpunk. We are still on topic 1. We've been going through this for a while.
Oh my god.
Okay, like how do you guys feel that you're going to play Cyberpunk? Like, what do you feel is going to be your play style? Because I know I'm definitely going to do a stealth play style. I just love Assassin's Creed. That's definitely good.
I've done that with like the other, I guess, closest thing to this, which would be like Deus Ex Human Revolution, where it was a stealth, non-lethal, up until a point, because I think the bosses, you have to kill them until the...
In the first game, yeah.
Yeah. I am interested in seeing, like, oh, how can you approach this game without being just pure... what is their version of stealth? Because I think, at least for me, I'm kind of tired of seeing games that are just stealth is avoiding combat and using a taser, and that's it. I'm interested in seeing their hacking mechanic. That's going to be interesting.
I agree. I'm also interested in that. It's interesting to see how different games choose to implement that, where it's engaging, but in higher levels still has a level of challenge to it that makes you actually interested in doing it, versus seeing it as just like a boring part.
I am someone who really likes to use their environment when they're playing, so I'm hoping that there's a lot you can do to interact with the environment to kind of turn that into an advantageous situation.
Like Watchdog style.
Have you seen the
exactly.
demo from last year?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of like going through corridors, using systems, upgrading your tech in your eyes to interact with other things.
The fact that you could like literally hack your enemies too. I think that, would you consider that environmental hacking or environmental kind of gameplay, Adam?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess that would fall into it because you're using other means to distract an enemy.
Yeah, so yeah, you're gonna have a hell lot of that. And yeah, so what do you guys think is your excitement level for Cyberpunk 2077 on a scale of 1 to 10?
Honestly, there's one main aspect in it that I'm very interested in, which is, and this is something I just found from reading an article that basically just talked about the original tabletop Cyberpunk that it's all based off of.
Oh.
And that's the things they show for you right now. They talk about this concept of humanity. And when you go through a certain amount of augmentations, you start to lose a bit of your humanity. Like a thing that was kind of controversial in the game was, you see like this, augmented woman in a tub and choose not to save her. And like the logic behind it is you can't tell like how much of her is really still human stuff due to this like concept in the game of like obsession with constantly like upgrading yourself and making yourself better and so forth.
they talked about that a few times, and that's a really cool area to go into.
Yeah, so in the original tabletop, there was this concept of humanity point. And basically every time you gave some sort of augmentation to yourself, you would lose humanity point, and there would be downsides. Which is again another way like to balance it out, but it seems like in this game they're trying to put that more in a storytelling manner, but they also seems like they might put that in a gameplay sense where to at least limit yourself early on in the game. You can only do so much to your body, which means you have to you can't be both guns out blazing and stealth at the same time. You have to actually choose specifically what you want to go for because you're more limited, and if you do try to choose to do more, then there's more risks.
See, I
guess is similar to what they did in like the second Deus Ex game, but this seems more intense.
See, I really hope that affects your morality too, and how it affects the game's storyline. That would be really interesting to see how that plays out. But like,
I think the world interaction implications, like how people just react to you, would be really fun. Especially when you go like high augment or low augment playthrough, and see the drastic, a huge difference in how people even approach you. To me, I'm actually someone who doesn't really replay a lot of games. I kind of have my experience and I'm done with it. But this, I think, because there's so much variety in playstyle and approach to any task, that I would probably play this game a few times.
By the way, so talking of excitement, Christian, the fact that you were there in person to see freaking Keanu Reeves come out, how was that?
I mean, what do you want to say? It was great. I mean, it's Keanu fucking Reeves. It's like...
You're missing the word. It starts with a B.
What?
You're missing the word, Chris. It starts with a B.
B?
Breathtaking.
That guy got a free game out of that.
Yeah, and that also set the precedent for everybody at every other press conference screaming hoping to get free shit.
I know. Can't blame a gamer for trying.
But like, are you guys not hyped for the fact that Keanu Reeves is in the freaking game?
At the event,
yeah.
That and Halo were like the big moments that I think people were really feeling. Just because Keanu being Keanu is great, and Cyberpunk being this juggernaut at this point without it being out. And Halo having this very emotional and actually kind of engaging narrative presentation. It was it was in that entire event, huh?
That's a Halo with a good story.
Well, yeah, Halo 1 through 3 had a good story.
No, I'm talking about the more recent ones.
It's 50-50. It's fine.
The didact just makes sense. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I just have some troubles with some of the logic.
No, I think most of us did not.
It's pretty cinematic though still, so I mean, there's that.
Yeah. I got invested in that random soldier and his kids and family way more than Locke and all the other people. But no, it was it's weird because I guess for me, I always was an Xbox fan. That's my console I was really invested in as a child. But then I've kind of toned down and gone away from the whole fanboyism in any ways. But it was cool to actually see just straight up fans who are hyped to be there. Because I'm more someone that is in industry. Seeing that is so encouraging and kind of reminds you how special this whole thing is. And to me, it's you don't want to let anyone down, and you want to make sure these people are happy.
I mean, yeah, dude, because this is actually a good transition, Christian, so thank you for that. But no, yeah, the fact that we now see Master Chief with a cod piece again, I'm excited for that.
Wait, what?
That was the only reason people cried. They missed that cod piece.
So yeah, I mean, so what they're saying about Halo Infinite is that they want to take it back to the original roots of Halo. So if you've noticed, Master Chief's armor in Halo Infinite, at least from the trailer, looks more akin to the blocky, chunky, old school armor piece he had from Halo Combat Evolved, and not similar.
Right.
To, yeah, it's not very streamlined compared to what the new Halo or Halo 5 and Halo 4 and 5 kind of had.
It could have some narrative implications because I think in the previous story there was talking about how this technology and AI were basically Cortana was taking over in a lot of ways. So I feel like this entire Halo Infinite seems like it's a really big spiritual reboot. I think that's the words they've used themselves.
Yeah, a spiritual reboot of
and
the
they're
series.
really aiming to just kind of get that classic Halo emotion and vibe from everything, from the design, the art, the just I don't know. I'm really excited to see how far they take that idea.
I mean, 343 has Marty, so you have the good music.
Oh, that's right. Wait, is that the guy who made the Halo 3 music? 'Cause I loved his shit. He was so fucking...
No, he composed most of Halo's music.
That's right.
Basically, he's a composer for Halo.
Mario
He wrote for
O'Donnell,
Bungie,
right?
And then he left. Yeah, he left Bungie, and then went to 343. And most of the major players for Bungie who made Halo have gone to 343.
That is one thing I want to bring up. How studios may change, like, but the people that make them may follow the project, or like they might leave the studio to go follow the project, depending on different circumstances and everything. It feels like it's a return to form for Halo, and I feel like everyone's excited and wants to go back. There's been like a vacancy that Halo fills, and I feel like they're setting up a great like comeback.
Yeah, especially
It's
with the
also-
story, like the whole story that it's been how many years since the last Halo game? I forget, but it's been a few years
15,
since
16?
Yeah, like 15 years, something like that, since the last Halo game,
wow.
and now the Earth has been turned into a Halo. If that's is that what I'm interpreting correctly?
No.
No, this is a new ring, basically.
Well, it could imply other things like, oh, we've lost so much that everyone who's left is in this ring. Or,
I mean,
that's what I was reading.
Because the guy was saying the fight is over, right?
No, he's saying that they're losing, or like they've lost a lot. Their fight is maybe can be seen as over, but it seems like it's because they're losing.
So then, what do you guys think about that narrative, that new narrative that Halo is saying, where now instead of humanity being on equal terms with the enemy, now humanity is on the losing end?
Well, now Master Chief's back, so now it's back to humanity being unfair.
Because Master Chief comes back into the...
I mean, it goes back to the Halo 3 vibes. It was very desperate. That's kind of like everything felt like a last stand. Like made that narrative kind of gave into the idea that like everything you're doing has like a huge weight to it. Again, it's kind of going back to more classic Halo tropes, which is good. I don't know. I'm excited. It's also like a launch title, so
that's right,
the
for
new Xbox
Project
the
Scarlet. Oh shit! Which is supposed to have 120 FPS, 8K resolution. Oh shit!
And Ryzen.
What's that
A
again?
really, really low. It's AMD's really
The consoles are going to be using AMD's CPU and GPU tech, Ryzen and Navi, which are very good.
Oh, so we're just gonna see a
Yeah,
very, very
and-
beautiful Halo Infinite.
AMD as of now is eating Intel. Like, Intel just announced that whatever they had a booth at like E3 and they're like, we have new chips. I'm like,
Nobody cares.
that's no one cares. Like Threadripper's coming up, and I'm really excited for like a really good workstation / gaming CPU for their Gen 3s because
The Ryzen 3rd gen goes up to freaking, if you're going for the highest end one, it's 16 cores at 100 watts.
Yeah.
Like,
Threadripper goes up to
I can't
32.
imagine needing more than 60 even for like certain work related thing. I mean, it depends what you
It would be half gaming, half developing games, so I would need higher core threads. But 16 at like 499 is at I think it's a 4.7 overclock and a 3.8 standard clock. That's fucking that's
So,
great.
God
in
damn.
layman's terms, is it good?
It's gonna be good, yes.
It's gonna look very pretty.
It's good. It's good. And layman and TLDR, them doing Ryzen makes it a lot easier for backwards compatibility because it's closer to a PC architecture. The same thing goes for Sony, and Sony's doing Ryzen as well.
Oh no, they're all using the same thing. In the end, AMD's the one that's gonna win from the console war.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
So
Intel's
moving
just
on
gonna
with other
own.
Microsoft announcements, Borderlands 3,
Mhm.
which was shown at the Microsoft press conference. That's hype.
That's right, it was.
That's hype.
I played that.
Yes.
Shit's hype.
That was
Shit's hella hype.
What was it like?
Short.
Very short.
The demo was so short.
For reference, Adam, it is.
4 times.
For reference, Adam, it is shorter than me, which is pretty damn short.
So less than one Todd Howard.
Todd Howard's
But
cool,
did
man.
you see any?
No, he was as tall as Todd Howard. He was like right next. Actually, Todd Howard's taller than B.
No, well, no.
Yeah, we took a picture.
That's another discussion. We're still on Borderlands 3.
The next episode of the podcast.
Baffled.
No, but Borderlands 3. What are you guys' thoughts on Borderlands 3 gameplay style? Who do you think you're gonna play of the 3 hunters or the 3 Vault Hunters that they gave us?
I always
I
play
like the arm
Siren.
lady.
The what lady?
The arm lady.
Oh, she's cool.
Siren, yeah.
Yep.
Coming into the demos, the character I was most interested in, at least among the 3 that they give you, was saying the operative, just because I like utility type characters like that, and he definitely seems go for that. But my biggest surprise was I had 0 interest in Rose the Gunner, the one that makes the giant mech.
You had
And
0
I
interest.
ended up playing her in one of the times I went to play the demo, and I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed her.
Huh.
I was able to upgrade her enough during the demo where I basically had her just have 2 power fists, and I would just go around just punching everything to oblivion, and it was rock'em sock'em robot. I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed actually her. Because they have the whole new skill tree thing where each skill tree basically you can swap out what your ult is basically. And the special thing about her is basically her ult is always going to be summoning her mech. But what each skill tree does is it offers a different attachment for each of your 2 limbs. So it could be a grenade launcher, could be missile launcher, machine gun, a rail gun. It can work on things. And each skill tree can modify those specific ones, or you can get complete new ones, such as one of the ones I did gave you a power fit. And you can either have 2, both limbs with the same weapon, or mix. So I was pretty surprised by variety that you have with her character.
I think that's the coolest part about Borderlands 3 of what we're seeing. The fact that you can actually change your loadout or your talent loadout. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just going down a skill tree anymore. It's going down a skill tree, but still having options within that skill tree. I think that's one of the coolest part that Borderlands 3 is treating us to.
Oh, the one you can change through all that stuff is incredibly enjoyable.
Oh yeah.
I wish you could quickly hot swap or press a button, change to a different one. But I mean, it's still pretty.
If only that'd be way too OP, maybe.
That would be a bit much. I mean, it doesn't take that much effort to go into the skill tree and adding it. So it's really not that much effort.
But yeah, so I don't know if the rest of you guys enjoy Borderlands. I know, Adam, you abhor it, so I'm not gonna talk to you about this.
I don't abhor it. I
God dang it.
did not find it.
Am I a robot now?
Entertaining for
Okay.
a long period of time.
I got DC'd.
Oh shit. No, I was just gonna say, if any of you guys are still interested in playing Borderlands or getting caught up to Borderlands 3, Borderlands 2 does have that Commander Lilith DLC that came out recently, which bridges Borderlands 2.
Level 30.
Yes.
I was gonna say my opinion before I got DC'd. So I had a very brief thing. The guy who was showing off and doing the demos wasn't really appreciative of the fact that I jumped off the edge and on accident and found a bug. And then I found another one, so I just kind of kept to myself and but he's like, he was telling people, because this was in the not the booth for Borderlands. Xbox had a side booth actually for a lot of the titles, so that was like a cheat code to get into a lot of the stuff to get in. So he's like, our lines are very long, and please don't take long. Please don't look for loot, and please don't spend for loot. You only have a limited amount of time, and I don't want you doing that. I'm like, that defeats the purpose. So I had some time to fiddle around because I play Siren mostly, DPS Siren, and this time around, because the first Siren for Borderlands 1 was more like pure damage and maintaining Phoenix. Second one was Phase Lock, which is more control and again control DPS. And then so for Borderlands 3, I poked around the skill tree while he was not looking, and he just rushed my ass. I was like, jeez.
He didn't want you to see that shit. Oh man.
No, he didn't want me to see it. He just wanted me to go really fast so he can cut through the line, and I had like a decent experience, but it gave me an idea of it. But so it seems like the Siren this time around is a tank. So if you make a DPS tank, that's where they're broken. It's really like her. I didn't get to see her like her ults because again I was being rushed. But at least the way I build her around, her attack is kind of like phase lock. So it holds the enemy in the air, and more you shoot the bubble, the more damage they take in elemental damage. So if you actually worked out that tree pretty well, you could probably get multiple enemies because she has multiple like Samsara arms, because that's kind of where it's like modeled. And then just like do a shit ton of damage in just an overall kind of area. But yeah, at least in my opinion, it's more Borderlands with a modern twist and more like we've been waiting how long? 7 years, I think.
7 years.
Long time. Yeah, the fact that you can actually sprint and slide and actually climb up objects now, like yeah, it feels much more modern.
Excited about.
Yeah, because I mean, like pre-sequel left a really sour taste in my mouth. The whole air mechanics.
Oh,
like,
dude, same. Okay, so for me at least, pre-sequel, I didn't understand a single one of those Australian jokes. The humor was completely over my head for a pre-sequel. I felt very gypped. I mean, I know they were going for that Australian kind of feel, that vibe, but I didn't get the jokes.
2K had an Australian studio do it.
Yeah.
I just didn't get
Ryan,
the jokes.
just get a ticket, go to Australia for a week, then play Borderlands pre-sequel.
I know, right? Shit. I should just go to Australia, go to a bunch of comedy clubs, try to understand the humor, come back and play the game. I would probably appreciate it much more than I do right now.
That's a great way to have immersion and to learn everything about the game. Spend that much money. It's like paying for a collector's edition without even getting anything.
On another topic, Double Fine Productions got bought by Microsoft. Christian, any thoughts on that? I know you're a fan of Psychonauts.
Yeah, dude. That's like king indie independent studio. They've made huge news, being like one of the biggest Kickstarters ever. The fact that these guys like are going this, I guess more corporate direction is in some ways kind of like not sad. It's just like very unpredictable, because this is a studio that fought tooth and nail to stay independent and do the things they want to do. I mean, I remember talking to someone saying how like Double Fine got burnt when they were making Broken Age, because they had to take all this like money from other people. I think this is like them kind of trying to recover from that and trying to not recover. This is like moving on and trying to like move past those scars and that trauma. Also, like the Double Fine's in San Francisco. It's like one of the last places that in San Francisco making games like that, like that are not mobile or some kind of weird, I guess, more core game experience. And I don't know, part of me is actually happy because it feels like they can finally just relax and make a game and not worry about whatever finance shit was going to go on.
I mean, so did you get a chance to look at Psychonauts 2 though? Did you get a chance to look at Psychonauts 2 then?
No, I got like a ticket, but I ended up going to 505 and staying there.
Oh.
No, it was I mean, for me, like I can wait. I'm cool. I'm patient. This game is gonna be great. Just take your time. And I think another way you can also view this is like, oh, this place that's really focused on doing their own quirky thing is working with Microsoft. Why are they doing that? And people have been kind of asking that with Obsidian, all these other studios that decided to go ahead and join this team or this console. It's interesting. You can read it as like Microsoft is like really letting developers just do what they want and just giving them money. It's hard to tell.
Mm-hmm. By the way, speaking of Obsidian, sorry to cut you off there, Daniel. But speaking of Obsidian, Outer Worlds going to Epic exclusive. Oof! Ow!
Well, that's already known, I think.
Yeah, that's not new.
Oh, it's not. Oh,
Nope.
I learned that at E3.
I mean, it still leaves a sour taste in my mouth, but not.
I mean,
yeah, I'm not part of the PC crowd, so I'm not really like too like pissed off at all.
Same.
So like, I understand that PCs had Steam, everything else, and you've only had one platform now. but I've been on the console space, and there's 4 different platforms sitting on my TV stand. I get why you're pissed because it's isolating stuff, but it's also creating competition because Steam just sits on their ass. Just does.
I mean, the issue for me isn't the competition. It's amalgamation of other things. I have no problem with like the general like idea of what Epic was trying to do with the store, with trying to be more appealing to developers. What I don't like is just is the China thing, the exclusivity deals, as well as basically just the lack of a good platform.
Yeah,
we've
I mean,
had that talk
they need some works.
Rip.
They need some work, but I was trying to say about like Xbox, they're being very, 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 very aggressive as of late because.
Oh yeah.
And I mentioned this last podcast, the Sony cycle is basically Sony's at the end of their line. If this PS5 doesn't do well, you're looking at someone's going to topple them again, and then they're going to be the underdog at the next generation. Because I mean, Scarlett's coming out. Switch just announced 2 different, or under the table they announced 2 different models because they moved their production from China due to the tariffs to Southeast Asia. There's been recently a link for the Switch Mini, and Xbox is with xCloud, Game Pass. That promotion there right now for Game Pass is ridiculous. You get 3 years worth of gold, and then you just pay $1, and then you get 3 years worth of Game Pass. So like you can easily get gold for cheap. They're picking up studios that are well known, like Obsidian. And going back to the Obsidian point, is Obsidian was taking money from like illegitimate sources. Like they were hemorrhaging money, and
Oh,
so
shit.
the same thing goes for Double Fine. Double Fine was doing okay, but the only recent thing they put out, at least they had the publishing division, but like in the games was like Custom Quest 2, and I don't think that did that well. And then the whole cutting the whole Broken Age into 2 parts that pissed a lot of people out, and there was a second campaign for it. So it's just like a lot of these smaller companies that are well known, well loved, like Double Fine, Obsidian, Ninja Theory, all these companies want to do more, but they can't do it because it's getting more and more and more and more expensive to develop games.
So essentially, Microsoft is doing a good thing by backing them financially, then, and letting them make.
I assume they let them do what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft is like getting the nuclear shelter ready and just getting all the food that they need, so they're ready for the next generation. And then they'll be set and they'll sit in the back, and Nintendo will be number 1 because I mean, 40 million units in 2 years. That's already destroyed PS4 out of the water. I mean, and Nintendo's gonna be the number 1 this time. They've knocked it out of the park with the Switch. I absolutely love it.
Knowing
And
you that,
yeah.
knowing that you're a Nintendo fan, though.
No, I'm not a Nintendo fan. I'm the person.
He was saying facts though about like
Right, fair.
how successful the Switch is. So
Fair.
I'm sure he has bias, but I mean he's not wrong.
Fair.
It's just, I go for whatever service is the best. As much as Nintendo's online service is pretty ass when I play Smash, PS Plus is no longer worth it for me because I mean I'm a Vita owner since 2013, and now I can't get free games for that, or quote unquote free. PS3's gone, and there's only 2 games every month, and they're like higher quality games, but they did that beforehand.
Yeah.
As well. So I mean, I think and especially with the whole content policy thing, forcing Japanese developers to write memos in English, that's another thing that's pretty bad. I think Sony's shooting themselves in the foot because they're on top, and they did this with the PS2, and then they came out with the PS3, and the PS3 came with I think it was a 6-core custom architecture that no one wanted to develop for, and it was like impossible to develop for.
Yep.
And then that's why the PS3 did so bad. And I think we're going to get even with the Ryzen architecture and the similarity between Scarlett and PS5, I believe we're probably going to see a little bit of a tilt down for Sony. I mean, they didn't even show up this year.
I mean, to be fair, they didn't have. I feel honest, just they didn't have a lot to show. I feel like they probably would show things they already showed last year. Everything they showed last year.
They definitely had a lot of things to hype, at least. But yeah,
they didn't just show the same thing they did last year. Yeah, again, things that they showed last year. They were just showing more trailers for stuff that they already showed. And I don't know. I would not be very hyped from that if they just showed things we already are aware of, but they've already showed us.
just as a counterpoint, I'd say, because I played Days Gone, there was a promotion through GameStop, so I converted $60 of credit. But the minute I played Days Gone, it was bad. I crashed into a tree, and the driving was pretty bad. And then that was a really hyped game. So I think Sony's running out of guns. Like, God of War is a phenomenal game. I have not played it, but I've seen it from the outside. And
I want to defend it. I think people are very much looking over. I think there's some good shit there.
Oh no, he's saying God of War is great. Yes.
Sony has some quality.
I'm saying God of War is great.
I'm talking about Days Gone.
But the problem is, I think Sony. How many times can you produce The Last of Us or a God of War?
For them, apparently quite a few times.
There's 2 more God of Wars, Adam. There's 2 more God of Wars.
Yeah, there's a
But that's just one game as opposed to Xbox and the
They got
Switch.
Last Horizon 2
Good
coming out. They got Last of Us 2 coming out. They got
Spider-Man.
another Spider-Man coming out. Yeah,
If
Sony's
we're talking about
fine.
This
Like
is
they're
Studio
bringing it
Bend.
hard enough. For me, not enough for me to want to go buy a PS4, certainly, or invest in a new console made by them.
I would say
I'm not interested in PS4
Another edge
Pro at all.
Xbox has is they're not forcing people to buy the console. They're literally trying to put it on as many things. They're doing the Bethesda thing and just put it on every toaster they can.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, Microsoft, because now with games for Windows, it's a lot easier for me to play my games.
Because you can play on
And
Xbox
the
or
Game
Windows,
Pass
right?
also for PC as well. Game Pass on PC, 100 games so far.
So that's way
It's a
more
deal,
consumers can use your product if you do that. So Sony is really kind of backed themselves into a corner in the console race.
I mean, I was an avid user because I beat Yakuza 5 because I didn't want to pull up the PS3 to play Yakuza 5, going on to 6. And PS Now is great. They just need to get the same edge that freaking Game Pass has, because the only thing you can do is you stream it. But like, if you walk away and like go make toast or something, it'll kick you off and you lose your saved data. Nothing uploads at all. But it, like, with the 100 meg connection, it's fine. I beat Yakuza 5 completely. There was a tiny bit of input lag. It's a major improvement over the beta, where Guacamelee was, I think, $10 to buy on PSN for Vita, and if you quote unquote rented it for a month, it was like $20. So coming from that and really unstable like beta and like launch to where they are now, where you can download PS4 games as long as you keep that license subscription, it's cool. But again, they need back compat. If they get back compat right, because I mean Xbox has already had that in the bin already. So if they get back compat correctly and not do PS2 emulation on PS4, and then do like a full backwards compatibility either through a streaming service or figure out how to make the architecture work, because the issue is, the reason why PS3 is not there is because of that dumb CPU. If they can get that right, then Sony can do pretty well and they can stay on top. But as of now, I don't see them. I mean, they even asked Microsoft for streaming technology for Azure. Like, it's showing that they're getting a little desperate right now. I mean, we haven't heard anything about any state of play for August or July. I mean, they said they were going to do something but like the last state of play was state of VR. They're so heavily focused on VR, and VR is cool, but that market's kind of set sail the same way 3D TVs went. I mean, for VR, it's kind of there to stay.
I mean, PSVR is one of the most successful VR headsets.
That's true.
Yeah,
It's like the most successful headset.
Yes, sorry.
I'm acknowledging that. I'm just saying that they're focusing way too much on VR as an experience, and I think they're running out of ideas and they're running into a hole. As I said, the only first-party titles that come to mind, I mean, we had Studio Bend make Days Gone, and that didn't do so well. And Studio Bend is the same people who made Siphon Filter. So, I don't know. Ghost of Tsushima, I hope, is good, and it's not the same thing as the Assassin's Creed combat where you just spam block, and it picks up key things from how Neo and
From Sekiro, you're thinking Sekiro, right?
From Sekiro, it picks up how combat works from those two games that are Souls-like, but because that's what that studio is trying to work for, is kind of the samurai game, and if they can meld that in, I think Sony has a hit. But Death Stranding, I still don't know what the fuck that is.
That looks like a good game. That looks like a good game.
Sony, that's Kojima. That's just Kojima.
But I'm gonna be real. I don't think Death Stranding is gonna be more of a game experience as more of like a adventure kind of experience. Like you're there for the story and you're playing to see it unravel. I don't think it's going to be much of a, oh man, I can't wait. It's a lot of fun playing this one game.
Almost like a movie, right? Like a cinematic experience.
Yeah, I think it's going to play more like a movie.
Possibly.
Well, it does make sense because Kojima's just a giant Westaboon and loves film and movies, and so like.
I mean, if you saw the trailer,
his favorite actors and
like,
movie makers.
Yeah, when in that trailer did you say, "Oh, that looks fun to play"?
To be fair, the combat looked cool because you get to fucking whack people with a briefcase. That looks cool.
I was thinking the same thing.
I mean, it really looks like it's GS5.
I am not looking forward to that.
Moving on to more happier topics, gentlemen. Bethesda Showcase, which some of us had the opportunity to attend. I got to meet Todd Howard. I got to take a photo with Todd Howard.
No.
Yes, there was also
Howard, not Todd Howard. Drunk Howard. Right.
Yes, Austin. There was Ikumi Nakamura there. Yes. For those not in the know, Ikumi Nakamura announced or was the creative lead for the new game coming out. Oh, sorry, director. Sorry, yes, for Ghostwire Tokyo. Is that what it's called? Ghostwire Tokyo, right?
Yes.
And she was incredibly kawaii. Yes, there's an image of her right now. She's took
wholesome.
the internet's heart by storm, and everyone around.
What did she do?
He just said it. She was more kawaii.
She just stood on the stage.
She's just a very, very, very wholesome person.
Very wholesome.
She was very, very nervous, and she's like a typical like.
But what about her body?
Like Japanese person, like very trying to be formal and trying to be ideas, but she was very happy and very excited at the same time that her game's coming out. I'd like to point out that she's also the character designer for Bayonetta Okami.
Is she act?
Yeah,
Yes.
Wow.
A lot. I think she's.
Bayonetta is modeled after her, or at least her facial structure.
Lols? Oh shit.
No,
I can see it.
she's done a lot.
Oh shit. I can
She's
see it.
done a lot of stuff. It's just her
She's not
first.
just the person.
So, about the game.
Let me send you the video of her at some point, Adam, and you're gonna be like, wow, this person is actually very cute. Like, she's an actual real life anime character.
There's not too much you can say about the game because it's a very like vague, abstract, like cinematic. So there's not so much you can really get out of it besides that, her own words, which was, "It is spooky."
It is spooky.
Yes.
Here's basically what I wrote in my no cell service wanted to live tweet. Ghostwire New Tango Works. Okay, these models look good. Everybody go poof. That's basically what I got from it.
Everybody go poop.
Everybody go poof. That's it.
Oh, poof!
Because people,
They all got snapped.
My mind was in the gutter.
Yeah.
Yes.
like always.
But yes, speaking of mine in the
Well, I was gonna say in Bethesda, can we talk about Kill Loop or Death Loop?
Oh, that looks so
that
fun.
looks like a
That was
good game.
interesting, like conceptually.
Can we get an image of that Deathloop? Because that's a really good game.
So I'll do a little breakdown. Deathloop looks like it's from Arcane Studio, which is the Dishonored developers. And if you haven't played Dishonored, go to your local GameStop because they're probably having a shitload of them for free. But they're very good sim stealth action games. And it looks like their new game is a weird time travel, maybe multiplayer shooting game where you're constantly looking for another person who's stuck in this loop with you. And I mean, the studio has a huge, just a good history. And the fact all they're doing this kind of weird, almost movie-esque idea. And it just, to me, it's like checking a lot of boxes. Like, oh, I want to play this. This looks really cool. Looks interesting. There's no gameplay, so we can't really tell you what it's going to be like, but the idea of it is interesting.
See, so I personally feel like this game, this Deathloop game, would be perfect for me and my other friend, Skags, who loves to kill me, because it looks like a PvP co-op kind of game where you progress by killing the guy you're working with. And it just seems like a very asshole kind of game. That you're gonna develop a very strong bond,
to be honest.
But you would also hate your teammate the entire time you play if they're better than you at shooting.
Yeah, I think me, Beachon, and Chris were all like spitballing the idea that it's kind of like a way out, but more online, so you can't screen cheat. That'd be really fucked up if you can. But like, if you had like maybe a mode where it's like 1v1 and you're constantly trying to outdone it. It's Groundhog Day, a little more futuristic with guns. That's as much as I can pull out of it. It looks great is because it's Arcane, and Arcane has a really good philosophy of, if you want to do a certain thing, we'll let you do it. Play how you want to play. That's how they've always done their games. You could sneak in and pray as a coffee cup and play the game entirely as a coffee cup if you wanted to. So I mean, I've played Arcane. I haven't really finished any of their stuff, but I've like at least played enough to understand what their like design language is. And it's pretty much open. It's taking the idea of what I said prior was open world, but like actually taking that more into it, this like a game and speaking to the player. Like, if you want to do that, you can do that, and that will implicate different actions and consequences if you do that. Then that's how Dishonored handled it. I think the same thing goes for Prey. Didn't Prey have like a system where if you use too much alien stims, you got a different ending, and there's a different
similar
like
to
implication?
Cyberpunk, saying you become less human and more alien instead of technology.
Mm-hmm.
To reinforce that, Prey did a lot of interesting stuff where they had weapons that would actually let you traverse the world differently. There was like a goop gun, where if you shot the wall, it lets you can actually use that to climb and scale into areas that they probably wouldn't think you could do that.
Well,
They're about basically empowering players that decide to invest and learn the systems, and basically have them use that however they want. Like Breath of the Wild with guns. How about that?
Yeah, because Breath of the Wild had this. You see that mountain, you can climb it kind of mentality, which was great.
But you know what else was also cool about the Bethesda showcase? The fact that Todd Howard showed up and talked about Fallout 76. How about that?
You want to hear my snark on that? Because I had lovely snark about
Before
that.
your snark, the best thing that happened during that show, at least for me, was when Todd Howard came out and started talking about Fallout 76, right? And he was saying, we have made a lot of improvements to Fallout 76. And one of the people that was sitting next to me shouted out, "Did you delete the game?"
I remember that.
It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I was bawling.
Right out of my mouth.
Yeah, it was
Oh
funny.
my god. No, but Adam, if you didn't hear, Fallout 76 is getting a Battle Royale mode.
Oh boy.
That's one of the quote improvements they're making to the game.
I lose faith in, in love, because everything you love is just going to betray you and turn into complete nonsense. And that's what Bethesda's doing to one of my favorite game franchises ever.
But
yeah, they need to get off the goddamn creation engine, for fuck's sake.
Oh my god,
Never.
the engine was old when Oblivion came out. Now
Yeah, and then they modified it and put it into Fallout 3, and then they modified it again. Just get the fuck off that engine. Go to Unreal like everybody else
it
is
is
doing.
over. Stop it.
Here's a fun fact. Elder Scrolls 6, using that
Using
engine.
the same engine.
are they actually? Oh, that's right.
And
Fuck.
Starfield.
Using the
And
same
Starfield.
engine.
So they're using an outdated ass engine. Why?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to
and-
find a new game to play.
I mean, I think a lot of people still use like their own in-house engines. I think Call of Duty is still technically using their Call of Duty engine. They've just been upgrading it slowly.
But when's the last time
But
you
the
played
difference
Call of Duty
is-
for immersion and to interact with NPCs like that?
Never.
The difference between
You play-
Bethesda's creation engine and Black Ops, or like whatever the
You
engine
play
is using,
Call of
is they
Duty.
actually know what they're doing.
Players, you shoot at other things. That's the main purpose of it. If the engine succeeds in doing that, then you don't really need to tweak it that much. But what Bethesda does is create huge interactable open worlds. And if you have an engine that's outdated, it ruins your immersion because you have
Bugs
stuff
up your
that
ass where
does
dragons
not
fly
work.
backwards on PS3.
You don't like seeing the dragons slam you into the atmosphere?
It looks ridiculous.
It looks absurd.
But like,
It's starting to get
You could talk to an NPC in Fallout 4 and they'll step on a rock and the game can't interpret where you are, so it's just fuck it, I'm just gonna send them flying. And then you get notoriety for it. I'm like, what the fuck did I do? I mean, okay, that's the Bethesda charm, but it gets a little bit grating, because I mean,
Yeah.
also,
They're gonna be lazy with all developing by saying like, oh, we have a modding community that will make
That's
the
the
game
problem.
better.
we have a
It's
modding
to the
community
point
that
now-
someone will pay us for.
Yeah.
So that's where it's like, And I played 76 at launch. I bought it through Redbox, to be honest.
No.
Oh my god.
And for the first day I played, I'm like, okay, I get the point. I get why people are pissed. I'm not buying this. Okay. But so I'm sitting in the crowd in the nosebleed section while they're sitting and dealing with that guy. Also, weren't you guys right behind the guy who was screaming a lot?
We were next to the BE3 screamer, apparently, yes. Well, to be fair, there were multiple screamers. I don't know if there was actually one main screamer. There were multiple screamers.
Did you all attend a heavy metal concert?
We attended the Bethesda press conference, dude.
So I had my own screamer as well. So I'll get to that point. But when I was just sitting there and people were like cheering, my thoughts were basically like the first instance I saw non-playable characters are like, oh look, people to talk to finally. I don't have to talk to robots. And then everyone was cheering because of it. I'm like, yay, the actual game.
This is what the game should have been.
This is my thought process, like when I'm typing this shit.
It's
like
gotten
my
to the
live
point for me
tweets.
where I cannot play a Bethesda game unless there's mods for it, where the community has fixed all of the problems that Bethesda has with their game. So when Fallout 76 came out and they told me it's going to be an online game, I was like, well, there's no way I'm going to play that game because the modding community has no hand in it. So the game's going to come out broken. And sure
what
enough,
76 is basically the multiplayer component from 4 they spliced away and then sold it as another game because they couldn't figure out how to do it properly, and then they couldn't figure out how to do it properly in the first place.
Yes.
They're like,
and they still didn't do it properly.
I mean, I think I downloaded the trial. I didn't play the... Because I just said, like, it was like Battle Royale mode. Everybody, it's free to play. And I was like, oh, it's free. Fuck, why not? I didn't get to play it. And I was just like, I don't feel any draw to even play it in the first place. Like, it feels like a No Man's Sky thing, but, like, No Man's Sky got things right.
They eventually fix it. I think that's their hope. Like, if you invest enough time, eventually they'll get there. It's just like, I think it's even though it's been like, what, 6-7 months, it's still too early. We're gonna just come back another year and find out if 76 can recover. I think there's hope.
Absolutely
I don't know.
I think there's a lot more player base than No Man's Sky.
It's one of those things where the game at its core is not good. So if you wanted to play a Fallout game, you would be better off playing Fallout 4, 3, or New Vegas, or anything but 76. If you wanted to play a game for content. And as far as the multiplayer goes, the PvP in that game is next to garbage.
No one does PvP.
Next to garbage.
That was the main point.
Yeah, so the game is, at its core, it's not a good gameplay loop, and that's the problem I have with it.
So
That's
here's
fair.
my spit take: is the reason why they introduced the Battle Royale mode is that Todd Howard said this on stage. He's like, you guys don't even kill each other. All you do is you leave loot for all the newbies, and you like be really nice, and you build the settlement. Like, what the hell? This is not my intention for the game. I'm like, well, you made
sounds
it
like
open
he's
world
like-
game.
He's upset people are playing it like an MMO, or
Yeah.
he's trying to create a community.
More like a
It's
PvE
funny
MMO
game.
than a PvP MMO.
I feel like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I kind of want to shift the conversation to Doom, because that's a more positive, interesting game.
It is.
True.
Absolutely.
I have
I
something wrong to say about it.
got to play a demo for that. That was fun.
Doom Eternal. Any thoughts on Doom Eternal?
I want to play it. It looks good.
It is so good. It is so hard also.
So it
They
has
added
a
a lot
lot
of-
of Doom hardness.
They added it's that same sort of fast pacedness that you expect. I was trying to say this. The really intense thing about it was they added a lot more platforming, which is both good, but also just like, it takes a little bit getting used to, because they set up the levels in a way where they expect you to utilize the environment more. So it's a lot harder to just kind of like, take it.
That's right. When me and the others saw the platforming on the live stage, we were thinking, it's just FPS with Mario. What the hell?
I was gonna say Mirror's Edge with better guns.
Yeah.
Like, except like they did go all out. I think their like shotgun now has like a grappling hook.
Does.
Yeah, that's kind of meant to be like your signature weapon.
Like they emphasize use of the chainsaw. Like if you do certain attacks in different body parts and then do a chainsaw right into it, you actually get health or armor or bullets, depending on how you do it.
Yeah, depending on how you kill an enemy, you will get either health or ammo, right? So you have to be a lot more strategic in a game that's really fast paced. Like for me, it was really intense thinking about this while trying it out, and like I hadn't played like Doom in a while, so I was just like, it took me a few deaths to get it. Luckily, the demo was very long. It's smooth, it's great, it's a ton of fun, gore, a bit of that like nice humor that it has. That's
that Mortal Kombat humor.
Yeah, basically.
Combat campiness.
What is Mortal Kombat funny?
Have you seen their
It's absurd.
Yeah, it's the absurdity of it. Like, the way that the demo starts, it's from like that first gameplay trailer when they first announced the game, where you're walking into like a space station type thing, and all these humans who look so tiny compared to you are just freak the hell out, and you're going over them. You're just kind of focusing on the mission. You see a guy with like a red key card attached to him by a lanyard, and you just go right up to him. Guy's about to piss himself. Grab the key card and then just drag him with the key card, still attached to the key card, over to an access thing to unlock it.
Oh god!
Just choked by his own lanyard, and you just don't care. And then you continue walking, and then there's two of these like spaceman guys who are themselves pretty big, but nowhere near as massive as you. They're like, "Halt! What are you doing here? No one's allowed." And then as you step in line, they're like, "Holy shit!" And you just walk over them. Again, these guys are scared of you, and you see one of them has a nice looking gun, and you just take the gun and then just shove it out of the way and then continue on. Like
and that's the whole start of the demo. Wait, that's sick.
Yeah, that's the whole start of the demo. And it's like in the previous Doom, like every time the like scientists guys like we had to do this for a reason. Like we had the best intentions with opening up freaking portal to hell. Every time the guy like does that, as you're like in an elevator or activating something, you literally just like punch the thing that's like transmitting his voice, because you're just like, I don't want to hear this shit.
Yeah, and in Doom 2016, there's a part where you're in like the ship, and he's like, please step your way in here. Make sure, and he just whacks, and he's like, fuck you. There's like that attitude, and like the whole like where you find bobbleheads, you're like, oh cool, and like it flicks the bobblehead, and it's like, yeah, like I think Machine Games has gotten like Doom to a point where it's within the same like spirit, but to a more modern engine. This is kind of where I'm hoping Quake kind of comes in, because like I would love to see another.
That's right. They got renamed to DoomCon. That's right.
Yeah, for this year's celebrating anniversary, they're calling it DoomCon.
Sorry, Alex. Continue.
No, I was just like, I'm really excited to what Machine Games, because Machine Games basically has the two id Software babies, which is Wolfenstein and Doom. All we need is Quake, and we will have basically a good cycle. We'll have Doom, then Wolfenstein, then Quake. Doom, Wolfenstein, Quake. Doom, Wolfenstein, Quake. Or is it Wolfenstein, Doom, Quake? Something like that. And it will just keep cycling. If they keep building upon it, I'm fine with it. I like Doom.
Yeah.
2016 was great. I didn't like the Switch port, but the PS4 version played beautifully. I played that thing to death.
So then, speaking of bloody games and topics, did any of you get to watch the Devolver Digital Press Conference?
No, but I heard about it.
It's fun.
Tentacles.
It's Adult Swim, but video games.
Wait, was it just me and Christian who got to watch it?
Yeah, I didn't really watch it. I just kind of watched it. I saw all this stuff outside. I like how they handle every year with something really absurd.
This year was also absurd.
It was no. Like products. They actually make products. Where they made a demake of Enter the Gungeon, but it's a light gun game.
So this year they made an arcade machine. That's $5,000. That is a Left 4 Dead,
That's what I'm
House
saying.
of the Dead gun enter the Gungeon game. That's $5,000.
Well, also, kind of more on E3. I actually got to go to the Devolver Digital location, or their little tent.
Oh yeah, the little
Every year,
offshoot.
their thing is, every year their thing is like, we're just gonna find a parking lot next to E3, have free food and drinks, and just ignore the rest of the conference.
I've been meaning to go there. I just keep forgetting.
Yeah, it's like them in a parking lot with free food, and they have their own like little demos so you can try some of their games. They did have some of the demix there from what I remember, and they had like a few of their other published games like what's the Samurai Zero game? The one, Brian, you want me to play with?
Samurai Zero. It's called Samurai.
That
Zero.
was there.
Or sorry, Zero Katana. Zero Katana. Sorry, Zero Katana. There we go.
Oh, Zero Katana.
Katana.
So they had,
Messenger probably.
no, they didn't have that. It honestly, it's less about like having brand new games they just announced, and more just about like having all their games there available to play. That event was essentially like, we can do a summer block party, and we're just gonna go for that. Like the big game they showed was like a weird co-op game about getting to the other side with really of the screen with really wacky controllers. It's like it's honestly just like the vibe is very different from E3, where like that's a huge press conference. It's more. It was fun because I got to see some YouTubers. I was like, oh, that's Metal Jesus Rocks, that dude, or that's the completionist. He's just standing there eating food.
Lols? That's cool. They're just chilling there. That's cool.
Yeah, honestly, it was very chill. It feels like they do have their press area where they have their own little trailers to see their things. I didn't get to see it because I wasn't trying to. I was just too happy hanging out with friends.
But yeah, so that was Devolver Digital. The next press conference that happened was the Ubisoft press conference, or I mean the Tom Clancy press conference.
Yeah, that was something.
Tom Clancy's rabbits and Mario.
Tom Clancy's Dogland.
Before going into Tom Clancy, though, they did announce Watch Dogs Legion with the old grandma.
I like the concept. I like the concept of it.
You got to play as an old grandma. That was sick.
That sold me on the game. Is the fact that I could play as a grandma with a giant de-eagle.
Oh yes. Oh.
Who has like the ability to hack stuff with her smartphone, but she's like staring at it where it's like close to her face. So we got fast passes for being Checkpoint, and I had them and I was meaning to do it. I just never got around to it. But like, I really am actually excited because I played the first Watch Dogs, and the only thing I did was the multiplayer, and that was Invasions, and it was just fucking with people. Where I would hide.
Oh, you're one of those.
I remember doing that.
I just hid in a mountain. I just stood there. I'm like, I'm hacking you. I have like a video for it.
I actually played a little bit of the first one, but I played through the whole second one, and I really liked it. The only problem was it came out at a time where there were so many better options out there, like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Other games, so it just kind of it didn't get a lot of spotlight, but it wasn't a bad game.
Yeah, Watch Dogs 2 was pretty good. Yeah, I mean,
I played a lot
I
of
really
2.
enjoyed it. The problem was it was
overlooked at the time.
Yeah, it was very overlooked. So I'm actually really excited about this game, and I think the one thing I wanted from Watch Dogs 2 was the ability to play as or really choose how I want to play. And I think now they're like, okay, you can play as any NPC, so now you really can choose how you want to play. If you want to be, a straight up assault guy, or just, sword and board, or whatever, or a hacker, or grandma. I think it's really cool that now you can really define your play style instead of having every gadget at your disposal. Now you have weaknesses, and you have to think about how you do those things.
Can I add to that point?
Yeah.
For the second game, I played a lot of hours, and I really enjoyed the city and the characters. But I feel like they were trying to do too much with not enough refinement in each one. Also, the characters themselves, like, I never thought of Marcus as a murderer. Like, that's why I never was like super aggro, like fighter character. I was very much stealth focused.
That point, yeah.
so
But then moving to this weird Black Mirror version of London where everything's under surveillance and you have wacky characters with very unique playstyles. It's like they're dividing up and really polishing each part of the previous game. and making it as fulfilling as it is. If you were to play, like, basically, if you want to be an assassin, you're gonna have the best assassin experience.
So, but that's the thing. Like, I feel that Watch Dogs Legion is also kind of a scary promise that they're making, because at least during the press conference, the lead developer was saying you can play as literally any NPC in London. I feel that's a very, very big promise. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a limitation. So I will say it makes you think of Shadow of Mordor or the Middle Earth games.
Yeah.
Because that essentially had a similar system where you can recruit orcs, and each one has a dynamic name and
That was fun.
story and quests, and it's like their version of that. One thing on like a dev side I like is it makes people pay attention to the NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's artists that are slaving away to make each character look as good as possible. But now, like, oh, it's a resource. It's the thing I have to pay attention to. You can. It's. I want to see how people change how they play the game because of that.
It adds another layer of engagement.
One thing I am worried about with that is, since there's so many NPCs,
Exactly.
obviously, that you have to have, how immersive would the story be?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you play through the game as that grandma, is the game going to feel like a joke, or is the game going to feel like it's bringing you into the world? Because I think there's some ways that you can ruin your immersion, and I hope to see how they combat that.
Yeah.
And to add to that as well,
Yeah.
they're trying to break away from, because the first game was like super serious, Aiden Pierce, I'm a hacker, I've been wrong, and then it got kind of, and now it's not, and now it's like super silly. Like,
Yeah,
they're trying to change
the second
view
game,
of
I
it.
felt like it was a meme almost. Like the story, like Marcus is like, "Oh, we got to do something." Yeah,
And then everyone else was just like, whoa.
and then they start blowing up the whole city. I was like, that made no sense. Like,
If you
a
like
day ago, he
kill
was just a
people,
normal
you're a
dude.
psychopath.
I don't know if you guys remember, but the first NPC you scan in Watch Dogs 2, at least one of the first NPCs, was a guard who likes purple hair elf hentai. I love that. I love that little level of detail. It was hilarious when I played through. I was like, this guy has a background, and you know what? He was only making $20K a year in San Francisco.
Yeah, I want to know the story. I want to recruit that guy.
Exactly,
and
right?
his
So
problems.
the fact that like Watch Dogs 2 had this level of detail for each NPC, and it was, well, I think that one NPC was just like kind of set, but every other NPC had like their own story. I think that was really, really cool. It's just
Yeah, that's why I'm stoked for this, because
Mm-hmm.
they put all this detail into making it seem like the people in the world actually
they have lives.
are people.
Yeah.
So I
will say,
I think with the dialogue, my expectations were low, but the trailer showed me that like you switch to the grandma and she's talking, and like I don't know the person who was talking with the grandma, but they were having dialogue and open conversation. I was like, this is really cool. Something that games like State of Decay have tried to do with certain backstories and traits for their characters, but never on that level.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
talking back and forth. It's like, oh, hey, this person died. I need you to check in, and they actually comment on that person that died.
can I add to that? I heard that each character is going to have something like a loyalty mission or like their own personal mission. Kind of like how Mass Effect, your companions had like their own personal stories, and you kind of invest in that. So it seems like they're taking this like kind of fun thing they did on accident in the first two games and really focusing on the story of the random NPC.
But see, that's where I'm a little worried too, because you know, for Mass Effect, you focus on a few NPCs. Well, in Watch Dogs Legion, you're likely to be focusing on many NPCs. So where's the, or rather, how is the procedural quest generation going to affect the gameplay?
I don't know if it's going to be as procedural. I feel like they're going to do like a huge number, that maybe each one isn't like an 8-hour experience. I don't know if they
That would
want
be
you to
good.
have like hundreds of NPCs to recruit. Maybe focus on like 20. I think it was 25 as a limit.
But I mean, the fact that you
One-
can just kill them off and just keep trying for new NPCs.
Yeah.
Oh,
One
God.
thing that is like this could bring in cameos. Like, oh, you can place Marcus,
yeah.
you can find him in this area, or Wrench from the previous game because he hangs out at this weird bar all the time.
That would be cool. That would be incredibly cool.
Yeah, I was actually kind of bummed because I didn't like the look of London. The black your dystopian vibe, I think, is boring.
I think you just got used to the really colorful vibe of San Francisco from this.
Yeah, I think it is like the color of it.
I loved the looks of the second game.
Yeah.
That's why I really enjoyed playing it, is because everything looked colorful and vibrant. So I'm hoping it doesn't look like some kind of post-apocalyptic, fable-y world.
I will say a good thing of that is it lets people play as edgelords and not feel super out of out of place. I'm serious. Like, oh yeah, you can. Of course, you're under a totalitarian British guy ruler.
So it makes
People
sense
will
to
fight.
be that kind of person.
But they're so goofy because the grandma's there.
I mean, I feel like it's appropriate because, I mean, the way they kind of framed it is like it's post-Brexit and everything actually went wrong. They actually
You realize the game was developed before Brexit, right?
They stated it was Brexit.
Did they?
Yeah, they said it was
Yeah, I
a
think
post.
they did.
Story-wise, at least, it's post-Brexit.
No, that's where it takes place, but they started making it
Right,
when Brexit
right.
was happening. Or before.
Yeah,
No, it was before.
probably something where they just changed the story afterwards. Something.
I
like
mean,
that.
imagining the events of Brexit definitely influenced this game. Like, developing when that story is developing.
Right.
Yeah.
So speaking of goofy topics, Ghost Recon Breakpoint had a puppy show up. That was cool.
I think the game's cool, but that puppy just
The
stole
puppy
everything.
really stole the show, dude.
You just had to punish her with a puppy the whole time.
I think the puppy's name is what? Boom Boom, if I'm correct.
Why?
But
This
yeah.
puppy.
Oh, sorry, Bam Bam.
'Cause
Dog's
puppy.
name was
Bam Bam,
Bam
that's
Bam. And
Yes, it was.
I have no idea why the actor showed up with his puppy, but I mean he was a good-looking actor. He was a cool
He's
looking
in the
actor.
game.
That's right, the guy's in the
He's the
game.
bad guy. You fight him.
But we also want to. I mean, I guess he wants us to kind of be, you know, kind of be on his side in a sense. That's why he brought his puppy, right? So he's not that bad of a guy.
Do you guys have any thoughts on this game?
Adam.
I liked Wildlands for what it was. It's one of those games where you hop in, you just play, and you can be as tactical as you want, as loud as you want. And Breakpoint kind of deviates a little bit from the last one, in that last time you were bound to a squad, and you know it had a Call of Duty kind of system where you get shot and then you hide for a bit and then you're good, and then you can go back into it. This one, there's a little bit more risk involved, and it feels like less hand-holding and more of a creative approach to how you want to complete missions. So I'm a little bit excited for that, just because there's now an added layer of depth to the game. So for me, I think there's a lot of people who like traditional Ghost Recon games, and they want that kind of feeling, but I think this is definitely something that can be enjoyed. I don't think it's a complete joke at all. I think it's a game that you kind of make it into what you want. Same kind of as Watch Dogs. You have as much fun with it as you want. But if you're playing this game to, you know, take it extremely serious and be very, you know, compare it to some of the other shooters out there, I don't think you're going to be pleased with it.
Dang. I mean, I was excited for Ghost Recon Wildlands. I never really got into it after I experienced the vehicle control, because that was horrendous. But
The vehicle control is a joke.
for Breakpoint, if it's more focused on like stealth, I might take a look at it. I might be down for it, because
Yeah,
seems
it's
like-
focused on stealth and just the decisions that you make. Because now, before, if you went loud on a mission, there was really no consequence. You would just kill all the guys and then be done. Now it's, if you go loud and you get shot, you now have an injured arm or leg or whatever, and now that's going to hamper your ability to fight your way out of the situation. So now you have to think about, okay, if I go loud right now and get hit, I'm going to have to patch my leg up, or I'm going to run out of ammo. if I do this, I'm going to have to switch guns or.
There's like attached to that, even like going down a hill, there's like a stamina meter. So if you can't manage that, you're gonna, instead of like control and slide down, you're gonna roll and hurt yourself.
Yeah, so before you could shrug off, an explosion. You could, I'll run into this head first. I'll crash this helicopter because my squad members can revive me no matter what, and I'll just keep on doing what I'm doing. Now, from what I've heard, they're adding squad members, but I think it's going to be optional. So now when you're playing alone, you have to think about, okay, if I rush into this building, are they going to kill the hostages if I'm too loud? Am I going to get shot and not be able to fight my way out?
See, that's cool. That's the cool kind of tactics. That's really cool.
It's very cool, and it's something that's really fun when you have, 4 of your friends and you're all just trying to play a certain way. So it's a fun game, but it's as fun as you make it.
Another thing that's different about this one is they have essentially ghosts hunting you. So like they're ex-Ghost Recon soldiers that are present in the world they use similar tactics or can like ambush you that you have to be wary of. That's John Barenthal's character. He's like the head of that group.
Yeah, that's another point that I forgot to bring up. The first, the Wildlands, the problem I had with the game was that literally you were so overpowered compared to other NPCs. The most advanced that NPCs got was a little bit extra armor, or maybe you go into a room and they're sitting behind a turret. Now these guys have drones, self-driving cars that will attack you. They have way better gear, so I think it's going to bring an extra layer of difficulty and fun to the game.
So interesting point on the ghosts, Adam. You know what I heard? The ghosts are based on the hunters from Division 2. Those motherfuckers.
Actually, they are. Yes,
yeah,
that is true.
That AI is okay. So for the rest of you guys who haven't played the Division 2, and I'm probably the only one who's hyped about this, Division 2 is coming out with 3 new episodes where you will actually go to explore outside of DC, which is really cool. And then the episode 2, you'll get to protect the Pentagon or retake the Pentagon. Episode 3, we're actually going back to New York, which is actually really cool. So if any of you guys are interested, Division 2, we are always looking for new guild members. Because we want to play the 8-man raid. I really want to do that at some point.
Someday I'll have a PC.
No, but the point is, Division 2 has these really elite NPCs called hunters that just literally ninja poof in out of nowhere once you fulfill certain conditions, and they just kill your shit. Like Adam and I spent 2 hours trying to kill this one fucking hunter that spawn camped us.
Oh yeah, we had to kite him all the way to
the spawn point.
Base.
Yeah, 2 hour spawn point.
We camped into a spawn point and had the NPCs help us.
And it still took 2 hours.
An hour and a full massacre later, we finally were able to bring down his health bar.
And this was one hunter. One fucking... Okay, this motherfucker was like healing himself. He was rolling all over the place. He was sending out drones. He was sending out fucking turrets. He was getting direct headshots on us. We couldn't do shit against him, and we were max level.
It was very tough.
Yes, so imagine having to go a team of hunters hunt you down in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I'm not down for that yet.
Yeah, that's very tough. I wish they'd have it so the Division agents hunt you down.
I mean, if you know us Division agents.
I feel like there's going to be an Adventures of Tom Clancy games at some point.
Well, wait, isn't there already one? Yeah,
there's already one.
Yeah, the Ghost Tom Clancy's something battle team or whatever.
Yes.
Tom Clancy saves the panic on Electric Boogaloo.
Well, yeah, they announced that, didn't they? Yeah, Tom Clancy's Elite Squad. That's right.
Yeah.
The game
brought back Splinter Cell in the best way.
The game that has what? The Splinter Cell people has some hunters, I think. No, just Splinter Cell and a bunch of people from Rainbow Six Siege, which I don't play, but yeah, there's a lot of people from the shooting games. Oh, there's also the Wildlands guy in there. Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, and no one even plays as him because it's a game where you create your own character. So I don't understand why they would.
You recognize him, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep soon, but I just want to say, talk about that Breath of the Wild game that Ubisoft brought up.
Oh,
Greek
Gods
one.
and Monsters, right? Did anyone else see that? Because that looks really good.
I did see the trailer.
Nope, never heard of it.
I've got to say,
I didn't watch
I'm not
Ubisoft's press
impressed.
conference, to be honest.
No one blames you, honestly.
So Gods and Monsters is that game being developed by the people who made Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's gonna be an RPG game where I think it just takes place sometime in like mythical Roman or in Greek myth, and it looks kind of like Breath of the Wild. It looks very cartoony, but they're promising a lot. They're promising just open world RPG where you fight against mythical Greek monsters.
Yeah, and if I'm gonna be completely honest, when I saw the trailer, I thought it was a mobile game. I thought it was
looks like a
Clash of
mobile game.
Clans rebooted or something.
The graphics are very cartoony, is what
Yeah,
it is.
but honestly, I mean, I feel like there are games that have done that. You know, you've got games like Dragon's Dogma where you are fighting mythical creatures and it's epic and the graphics look way better. So I'm interested to see how fun this game could possibly be.
Yeah, maybe they can like focus more on gameplay and less on graphics, right?
They're on open worldness, like increasing scale, since it's not a mobile game.
So then the other interesting RPG that's coming out is Final Fantasy VII. Any thoughts on that, gentlemen?
I really enjoyed the demo, and I played the original one.
I didn't grow up with Final Fantasy.
I always thought of Final Fantasy as the first Final Fantasy I played was extremely boring to me because I didn't have patience for turn-based
Which
games.
Final Fantasy did you play then?
It was the one where they're playing like water soccer at the beginning.
Oh,
Yeah, and
10.
I was not a fan of the turn-based system, and I could not get past the first level.
Me and
But-
Austin, I did similar things with Final Fantasy. The turn-based stuff was just not my vibe when I was a kid. So the Final Fantasy's always been like anything. Final Fantasy's always been like an outsider thing. I've never gotten into that type of
But
playstyle.
the one game that I finally played that had Final Fantasy on it was the Dirge of Cerberus, actually.
oh.
You're playing as Vincent,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of a live-action kind of game. It's an action game, and that was when I started to get into the characters, and then I saw the Advent Children movie, and honestly, when I saw this, the gameplay for this game, it actually looks kind of fun because it's not turn-based. It's
They use a sort of hybrid system.
yeah,
It's interesting. For the most part, yes, it is real time like 15. But they kind of like bring back turn based by
Yeah, it
having a
looks
bar
kind of-
that fills up.
yeah. It looks kind of like reminds me of Dragon Age. So I'm impressed if they can, because the boss was jumping from room to room and flying off the ceiling. I was like, that actually looks pretty cool.
Don't forget the fact you can
So this
switch
might be-
characters with
Yeah.
their own movesets and their own moves. That's also gonna be really fun to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically all the improvements they made from 15. They just moved it to 7.
Yeah.
It's a big endeavor for them, definitely.
Another thing I really
mean,
liked was the dialogue during combat.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Flowed
The
so
character
smoothly.
interactions.
I was very impressed with that because normally you're expecting a few witty sayings and just some nonsense and some random background noises, but they were actually talking and discussing and something that I felt immersed. So the battle, even though it might not have been flashy animation or the most intriguing combat, I still was immersed in it because of how cinematic the combat looked.
So the way I hope the game was being developed was, the people who developed the Final Fantasy VII remake were likely the people who grew up on Final Fantasy, the original game, and so they thought, how can we make the game better? And so this is their love and effort in making the Final Fantasy VII that they felt was deserved by the community, by taking the original game they loved and making it 10 times, 100 times better.
Oh, so I'm gonna go to bed, guys. But
Ah.
have fun with the rest of the discussion.
Good night, Christian.
Yeah. No.
Hang on with me, gentlemen. We are almost done with the
Can I talk about Limited Run a bit? Because
Yeah.
I'm really happy that they... Okay. Fuck.
What games did they have again?
They had a bunch of stuff. So just some backstory. I'm a collector for Vita. So I've been trying to get the entire North American set. It's been a pain in the ass as of this year, because the Vita ended production as of March, and the final orders for cartridges was the final one. Like, if you don't order it, we're not going to make anything for you. It was back in, I think, February. So Limited Run is a small publisher, started from the company of ex-Epic developers for Mighty Rabbit Studios. It's just a little backstory. They publish digital-only titles for the public in a limited batch of like 2,000 to 3,000 to 5,000, depending on the game and contract. They don't own the rights to the overall publishing rights. They only own the rights to the artwork of the game that they printed. So if the developer wants to make more physical copies of said game, they can go do it with another publisher. They just can't do the same art. And majority of the funds go towards the developer, while Limited Run takes a small tiny cut for making the publishing deal. That's I've been with them since they've been around for 4 years. I've been with them since their second release of their game called Saturday Night Combat, or something RPG. It was like a cheesy game that was like 1984, like Saturday morning cartoon stuff. Let me pull it up.
Saturday Night Combat. I see Monday Night Combat. Oh no, that's a Steam.
No, Monday Night Combat. That's the thing. Is a Saturday morning RPG. I think that's what it's called. It's they made 2 games. The first game, which is ridiculously expensive now, and I regret not picking it up because I brushed it off because it was a mobile game, is Breach and Clear, and that goes for about $250 now. But yeah, $250 for a mobile Vita port, because it's like issue number 1 in comic. The only reason why. And there was only like 2,000 or 1,000 made. So if we're gonna go down the list, we'll start with Vita because I'm a giant Vita fan. We got Deadbolt, Guacamelee, Super Mutant Alien Assault, Pixacat, Reverend Dogma, Mutant Blobs Attack, Rocket Birds 2, Atari Flashback Classic, Super Meat Boy. I'm really excited for these ones. Damascus Gear, Operation Osaka, and Operation Tokyo. Those games are if you like take Armored Core and you mix it with Diablo. And they are digital only, and I've been wanting these games to come to physical, and now I can. Metal Slug 3, Papers, Please. And that's pretty much the rest of their Vita lineup. The only things that are left from other companies, Nicalis, who has 1001 Spikes, Binding of Isaac Rebirth, VVVVV, and one other title, but most of it was leaked to eBay because some guy at Sony sold press copies, or sold promo copies ahead of time. Now, if we're getting on to the PS4/Switch things, you got Night in the Woods. You got they have the rights to publish, and I think it's still available for pre-order as of I speak right now. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, which is the fighting game.
Also Limited Run Games is the one that publishes them.
Publishes it for that thing. So their policy for Switch games is because due to Nintendo's minimum, because all publishers and all companies have a minimum order quantity. Microsoft's really hard to work with because they have a set amount. Sony was these guys started with Sony because Sony just gave them what they wanted for Vita, and then they moved on to PS4 and then PSVR. Switch, they've kind of made a deal with Nintendo where a lot of the Switch titles are open pre-order, and they're pre-order for 2 weeks, and then you can stop pre-order. So this is an open pre-order, I think, for the month. It's a fighting game. It has a collector's edition and everything too, with soundtrack, art book, standard. Sometimes they come out with weird shit. But the fighting game with Power Ranger. Also, what they have announced is Transistor, which is made by Supergiant Games, and it's finally getting a physical release. I mean, they had Bastion for physical about a year ago, but Transistor is something I've been waiting for. Rogue Legacy. It's weird that they skipped the Vita port for this, but it's PS4 and Switch. Bad North, Dark Devotion, Freedom Planet, which is a Sonic clone, a really good Sonic clone. Turok and Turok 2, both the remasters for PS4 are coming to Switch. Physical. Red Faction for PS4, so it's a PS2 on PS4 port. Tui Collection, which is their first 3DS game. I have no idea what it is. I just know it's impressive. Corpse Killer, 25th Anniversary Edition, and Double Switch 25th Anniversary. So those are like the shitty Night Trap, like cheesy F&B games. And there's this one company they work with that remastered Night Trap, and now they're doing more of their back catalog. Real Mist, which is basically the Mist remastered for the Switch. Mercenary Kings for the PS4. They're also doing the physical production for the PS4 and PC Collector's Edition for Shenmue 3.
Oof, Shenmue.
Yeah, that's
That's
at least
thing.
it's not bloodstained. At least it's not bloodstained. I have so much headaches with it. I'm still corresponding.
I mean, Bloodstained is finally out on Steam.
No, I don't have my copies yet because I'm not going to install.
Oh, you want your
just a
physical
pain.
copies? Lols.
I want my physical copies, and people have gotten them, and I haven't got mine because Fangamers, as a distributor, is okay. It just they're giving me a bunch of shit, but I'm not going to go into that because it's public. The last thing they announced, which is really big, is they announced they are with partnership with Disney and Marvel for releasing Star Wars games. So the last thing they announced was Star Wars Bounty Hunter for PS4, physical.
Wait, when? Let me see. Star Wars Bounty Hunter. When was this
That
game
was Bounty
originally
Hunter. It's
released?
Was Bounty Hunter the one where we played as Jango Fett?
Jango Fett, and it was amazing.
Wait, this was like the
Yeah.
PS2 game? Oh, that's so
Yes,
OG.
Yeah.
it was so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And this is coming to the Vita or the Switch?
This is coming to the PS4. It's PS2 on PS4 ports, so they have a lot of PS2 and PS2 ports.
Oh shit.
And so what they're doing is they're making these
If
into
you
physical
haven't
stuff.
played this game, it's actually amazing. It came out around the time that other games like Matrix, Into the Matrix came out.
Oh god, that game.
Which-
That fucking game.
I remember that game.
And they're games that like they didn't get a lot of hype around them because there's no Jedis or you're not playing as Neo, but those games were amazing. And Bounty Hunter was such a fun game and such a unique concept at the time. So I recommend going back and looking at it.
But now it's on
Yeah,
the PS4.
and they're actually really-
Damn.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's available. One thing I'd also like to point out, they're getting really big. They're kind of like, they were the second people to do it because the first people to do it was V-Blank, and that was for Shakedown Hawaii, and also that's their newer one. And the other one, which I'm learning blank, it was like old GTA. And so they did that and they got inspired by it. So they've gotten pretty big and they've had pretty good relations now, is that they're publishing really big titles. They actually published the entire Jack trilogy on PS4.
Oh shit. Like
And
the OG
the
Jack.
collector's edition, the first collector's edition, came with a design Bible. A design Bible. And that thing sells for $300 just alone. And the full set's like almost probably $1,000. So it's just like they're getting really big, and I'm really excited for them. I go every year. I use PSX, and I've like talked with them to the point where I have some of the LinkedIn like contacts in the past, and like I'm just like a very big fan because I'm a very physical media is a dying breed, and we're seeing the whole thing with GameStop as of right now, and people are more driving to, I mean, I want more digital on my Switch now. I was looking at there was a flash sale for Best Buy, and I was like Final Fantasy 12. I'm like, I'd rather have it digital because I'd rather have it in my hand. But at the same time, physical media is a dying breed, and like none of that stuff's eternal. Like disc rot exists for a lot of Sega Saturn games, and those are heavily collectible. You have games like Digimon Cyber Sleuth being
That was my
delisted.
shit.
Yeah, that being delisted, so you can't have it on PS4 and Vita, but you can have Hacker's Memory. But Hacker's Memory is the other half of the game. That's like the mid sequel, like kind of like that. So the only way to play it physically is if you buy the Asian English version for almost $200 because it went up in price because,
Supply and demand.
supply and demand, and the fact that Two, your saves don't work on that version is because a lot of Asian English products are based off English versions. So Bamco for Asian English generally uses European. So the save compatibility and the DLC compatibility doesn't work. Now that's not a problem on PS4, but it's a problem on Vita because then cross save doesn't really work that well. So there's stuff like that, and then there's stuff like Scott Pilgrim that has been removed, and people have been asking for that to be physical because it's a really, really good game. So it's them coming along and bringing physical media, as much as it kind of gets ridiculous sometimes with pricing, but it's understandable based on contractual obligations. It's really, really nice to be a collector of a certain platform and have all these games available in hand. Like, I have Valhalla physical, and I really, really like Valhalla. It's a great visual novel, kind of in the style of like Snatcher, old visual novel kind of style, and it's just you're a bartender and you're just listening to people's stories, and there's a whole story behind it.
That's actually cool. Shit.
Yeah.
I might need to go back to collecting physical media. But yeah, so okay, for the last topic that we're gonna discuss tonight, gentlemen, the new Smash characters.
Called it. I called it all that.
But both of them?
Yeah, both of them. So we got the hero and Banjo-Kazooie. Yes.
Yeah, I call both of those.
Guys.
Any thoughts? I know we're all very big Smash players, so.
Yeah. I was playing before this. I have a tournament coming up too.
Oh, that's right.
I will tell you guys later.
I'll be sure to tune in for that. No, but yeah, so like, what are you guys' initial reactions on when you saw the hero from the Dragon Quest series, and then when you saw Banjo-Kazooie? Because, dude, people lost their heads over Banjo-Kazooie. Holy shit!
Actually, I really like Banjo-Kazooie. Not just. It seemed like they put a good amount of thought into bringing those characters into it.
Like, Banjo-Kazooie's been a long time coming.
Animation with them.
Mm-hmm.
For like the rumor pool, basically, because I'm part of a Smash community, I have my own Discord for that, for the LA area. And I've been just poking around in the rumors, keeping pits, and then like the most common thing I kept hearing is that Square Enix wanted another representation next to Cloud.
Oh. So
in my head, it was like either another Final Fantasy character. I'm like, what are they gonna do? People want Sora. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, please don't put Sora in Smash. No, not Sora.
Please stop begging for Sora.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. Cloud was a weird thing because they had to pay for the license for it, and it's like only certain things work with that. So in my head, people were saying Chrono, and then other people were saying Yusha or Hero, or Edric, who's technically the first hero for
from the Dragon Quest series.
I was more leaning towards Edric is his first name for the beginning of the Dragon Quest. The hero's name is Edric. And even if you put his name in any of the later ones, it'll say it won't allow you to do it, and it'll say it's blasphemy to put that name. It's pretty cool. Dragon Quest has been around for ages and ages, so it's finally like they get Dragon Quest gets some form of representation outside of their own games,
right?
Because like Dragon Quest people like Dragon Quest. The reason why Final Fantasy exists and a lot of RPGs exist is because of Dragon Quest. So I kind of expected that, but I kind of wanted Chrono, because Chrono is another big SNES title, that Square Enix IP that people really, really enjoy and people really would love to see in Smash, and I would love to see it mechanically work, because Chrono would have like time travel mechanics, or like time manipulation mechanics. But I was watching a Beefy Smash Dudes at least on Yusha, and how you can change your specials in the menu. If you pay attention, like in the trailer, it shows like it's going like a Final Fantasy like RPG menu. It seems like you can change your side specials to certain things. Like
during the fight, like you don't choose them before.
Yeah, so you're like your side special could be like a fire attack, and then you like have to manage that.
And self content, okay.
Kind of like Shulk in that kind of sense. And then, at least my other side, on the Microsoft side, I didn't really know the kind of... I assumed the relationship with Microsoft and Nintendo is getting pretty much better with the xCloud thing. But at the same time, I wasn't really sure on how that lands. There was a really good article there where Phil Spencer was talking, is like how Nintendo and Microsoft's relation together is not like Satoru Iwata coming to Phil Spencer and them having a debate and trying to negotiate it. It's like, hey guys, can we do this? Or yes or no? And they say yes. Because I mean, where was, since 2002 has been Nintendo's baby, and then the baby moved on and grew up and went to Microsoft, and it hasn't really been like a butting heads conversation, to be honest. So Banjo-Kazooie kind of makes sense. But then at the same time, they were saying maybe Minecraft Steve, because that puts Minecraft and then appeals to a younger crowd.
Yeah, I really did not want to see Minecraft Steve in Smash.
I didn't
and I'm
either.
thankful.
I didn't either, but it makes sense at the same time. So, like, this is my marketing brain kind of going. Like, it appealing to a younger audience for a Switch, while the Mini's like on the cusp of like coming out. So having Minecraft Steve would be a good thing, but appealing to the people who've been asking and asking and asking for Banjo for years. I mean, it's just to be expected. I mean, their content policy as of right now, I think Reggie actually said this at the Game Awards, is that they're looking towards less first-party titles, or first-party characters, and more third-party characters, at least for that representation. That's kind of why Joker was in Persona Q, but the only reason why is because Sakurai wanted he liked Persona a lot, so he just asked, and therefore Joker's in Smash.
Wait, that's it? Like, he was just like, I just want Joker, and he just got in?
Yeah.
Motherfucker
Sakurai.
Sakurai.
Enjoy it. It's like, it's not like a magic, like a lot of this stuff is not like a magic finger. It's like, if Sakurai wants to have the character, and he'll just ask, and it's like, it's more of an honor for development studios to have them and have representation in Smash than it is to be like, well, you got to give me some money. It's like, cool, my character's in Smash, I get free advertising.
Interesting.
So for Banjo coming home, that kind of just gives me vibes of like having Rare Collection or some form of Banjo like remaster with this, because they redesigned them. If you look at the photo, they redesigned the Banjo and Kazooie.
Oh yeah,
so it's less like nuts and bolts, and more like classic Banjo with more of a modern,
a much more cartoony Banjo-Kazooie, right? A much more like kid-friendly looking Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah,
He's
and his
going to be
playstyle seems kind of cool.
character.
What? Wait, what's up, Adam?
I think he's going to be such a troll character. I think the majority of his moves are going to be really annoying.
Well, I mean, his back air looks like basically Ridley's forward air, which is the jump and he like stabs his tail. His dash attack is just shooting eggs.
So kind of like a Mega Man kind of thing.
Yeah.
From playing Smash at least enough, I've noticed similarities between different movesets and different characters. Like, there are Echo Fighters and there are something, but like, if you look at Kirby and Jigglypuff, they both have the same smash attacks, just one's more floatier.
Yeah.
So I could see a lot of like taking maybe a little bit of Duck Hunt and plugging into Banjo. I mean, his run animation is pretty funny. His run animation is where Kazooie just takes him on like on her legs and just like runs like that move where you run up hills. That's basically the dash, like his dash. So it does have that Banjo kind of feel, but I mean, what do you guys think?
I just think it's gonna be super nostalgic playing it again, seeing all the silly antics that they had from the original game. And plus, their character designs already look so cute. Like, they have huge eyes. They probably have the biggest eyes in all of Smash right now.
I mean, Jigglypuff. I was saying, just saying, Jigglypuff has pretty big eyes too. Yes.
Yeah.
But like, compared to like the white eye ratio that Banjo and Kazooie have.
Right. Right.
I really want to see their taunts.
The whole thing has a great lighthearted cartoony feel.
Oh hell
I think
yeah!
A lot of people are going to enjoy. Alright, I have to go. So I guess how close you are to finishing.
I mean, I think we're already wrapping up now, but that was good. Any closing thoughts, gentlemen, before we wrap it up?
I think this year, ending it off, is going to be pretty good. We just got to see kind of what Sony has in the pipeline. And Nintendo coming up with either the possible Pro model of the discontinuing the 3DS and having the mini model for the lower audience. I mean, that's like E3 this year was kind of empty without the bigger players.
Yeah,
but
it's a revelation of expiration, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lull between the storm that's going to happen in 2020.
Yeah, I was about to say that
And
too. Because 2020 is when Project Scarlet's coming out, and very likely when PS5 comes out. Exactly.
So I mean, we're seeing. So at least in my catalog for coming up, I got Fire Emblem, I got Control, I got Judgment in a couple of days. I'm very, very anticipating Metroid Prime 4 or the trilogy coming out in some form or some manner, because that would just be a godsend. So I'm really excited for Nintendo, like what they have coming up. Sony, I'm kind of like, I'll play PS4 games. I have a library. It's okay. Xbox, same gist. I sold my Xbox because all I wanted to play was Quantum Break. So we'll just kind of see where it's going. I mean, that's pretty much all I can think of.
Maybe Fallout 76 will finally shut down. Lol.
Yeah. Monster Hunter World Iceborne will just come out now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that's also on my list because I forgot about that.
Iceborne's gonna be sick. Oh, we need to get the card squad back together, Adam.
Good.
We need the card squad back together for this shit.
Indeed.
Should be surprised they didn't have a card for your photo.
If only there was. Nah. Yeah, I know, Adam. The photo would have been better if I was carding in front of that thing, but no, I need the rest of you guys to be there to cart with me. Shit.
I don't cart. I fucking fly on my damn insect glaive. My switch axe and my blade.